All right. What is up, YouTube? It is June 11th, about 4 o'clock Central Time, and we are having our second goalie gear chat with another guest today. So, got two other guests with me today. Steve is MTL Goalie on YouTube, and then Jared, who you guys have seen before, is Hawkeye Goalie. So, I wanted to introduce them. I also wanted to apologize for the last time when we ran a live stream. It was my first one. Technical difficulties. I wasn't watching the chat. I didn't really think anyone would be listening live. So today we're monitoring the chat, and we're going to just talk about goalie stuff. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask. I'm going to watch and try and keep you guys a little more involved this time. So thank you, Paul and Nick, for watching. Shout out to you guys last time. But go ahead and going to turn it over to Steve, kind of let him go over some gear stuff that he's had some recent changes in, and we'll go from there.
Hey guys, it's my name's Steve, as Jack mentioned. Montreal Goalie 62 on Instagram and YouTube. Basically self-taught, almost 60 years old, still playing the game that we all love and still playing the position we all love. And I've talked about this with you guys before, but I'll just bring it up here since we're live. My gear growing up, it was always whatever was on sale, whatever was a deal, wasn't necessarily fitted. I've bought stuff online, mail order when Hockey Monkey was having clearances, get it. And I assumed it was a good fit, and I just kept trying. And it was only once I started to really dig into gear that I realized I was getting stuff that was either too tall, too small. Glove break wasn't the glove break that works well for me. Sticks were too, paddle length was way too long, then the paddle length was way too short. I played with a Curtis curve for the longest time, could never figure out why the puck kept going between my legs under the stick. Then I realized, well, the Curtis curve is not for me. It doesn't sit flat. So
right.
The last 5 years have been really eye-opening for me. And that's, in my 50s is when I finally discovered how to fit gear properly. So I've gone from Reebok XLT Premier Pro, that was a 35+1. Then I went to Lefebvre 33+2. Then I went to a Mark Hockey 34+1, and then PGS Hockey, which is made by Mark Hockey, 33+2, only to realize that the 34+1 was really the one that works for me.
So, Steve, if you don't mind me stopping you real quick, just for those that are watching that are kind of newer to the position or that are unfamiliar with kind of the numbers that you're rattling off. So, based on your height, if you wouldn't mind telling everybody your height, and then the difference in pad sizes can range from manufacturer to manufacturer. So,
yes.
If you like Bauer to CCM or, the bigger name brands, and then obviously when you get into like the more custom styles, they even range even more than that. So if you wouldn't mind elaborating on your height and go into that a little bit, that'd be awesome.
Sure. I'm just under 5'11". Knee, the common measurement they always tell you to measure is floor to knee. So from the middle of your kneecap to the floor, or from the middle of your kneecap to the ankle, depending on different manufacturers. Okay. So for my height, the 34-inch total height, that's basically the pad total height. And then the +1 or +2 or +1.5, that's how much extra you want on the thigh rise so that you can close the 5-hole. As you get older, you don't close the 5-hole as well.
Right.
So that's why now I'm at the 34. I think 34 +1.5 is what works for me. So total height, 34, and then extra thigh rise. And also other options, which are you can either have a very straight pad, or you can have a pad that's pre-curved, or you can have a pad that has a external break or an internal break, so it's actually pre-curved. So that's another thing that I realized, that straight pads for me, I go down, leaves the 5-hole way open. I need a pre-curve or I need an external break, so this way when I go down with my limited butterfly flare, it actually helps to close. So it took a few iterations to finally get to that kind of knowledge and make it work. The tough part is you can't get to try all this stuff unless you go into a store which I'm lucky because living in Montreal, actually, I've got maybe 4 locations where they literally have synthetic ice on the ground. You go with your, and this is another thing, not to digress, but if you're going to go buy new gear, bring your skates, bring your knee guards, bring your pants.
Yep.
At a minimum, you need those to make sure that when you put the pads on, nothing interferes with the butterfly when you go down. So they actually have like little synthetic ice so you could try it out.
That's pretty nice. Well, Jared recently, when he got his new gear, he took a trip. So you were saying you're in Montreal, you're pretty close. Jared, how long did you drive to go to a hockey store?
It was 4 hours one way.
Yeah.
But there are a couple stores that are just outside of an hour from my house, but they have very limited goalie gear. So I selected this location because they had the most gear on hand, so I could really rummage through it and figure out exactly what fit me well instead of what was at Play It Again Sports or on sale.
Right.
So Jared, just for reference, how tall are you and what size pads are your new?
Yeah, so I'm like 5'10", 5'11", probably just like Steve, probably just under 5'11". And growing up, I was always a 34. When I got my CCMs 6 years ago, they were 33 plus 1.
Okay.
And when I got my new pads, I was very shocked to find out I actually went down to a 32 plus 2.
Okay.
I think a lot of that has to do with how the pad sits on top of my skate. There's like very little channel in there.
Mm-hmm.
So it sits up a lot higher, but I think like you said, it's manufacturer to manufacturer, but that's just kind of where I landed with the Vaughns.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, that's a brand change from CCM to Vaughn, and the measurements obviously changed. So I didn't want to cut Steve off. I just wanted to go back to get everyone involved in the conversation. But Steve, so you said you've changed through quite a few different manufacturers. What's your experience been with each, and give us a little information on that.
So the gear I got initially was actually Lefebvre. So Lefebvre used to manufacture for CCM. They had the contract.
Right.
And I believe in 2019 or 2020, they split from CCM, and then they came back into the NHL as True.
Correct.
With the Lefebvre technology, but now the True brand is manufactured by Lefebvre, and they're actually 20 minutes from here, the factory, which is pretty amazing.
That is cool.
So yeah, I can't get a tour, but it's right here, right around the corner.
What's the reason you can't get a tour?
Honestly, I've never asked. They might do it. I've never asked to go. I know that the pro goalies are there all the time getting measured, fitted, and the gear is made for them. There's quite a few that when they're in Montreal, everybody knows they're in Montreal and they're at the True factory and they're getting all their stuff done cool for them. Yeah, it's even Cody. I don't know if you've heard of Cody Porter. He has a Instagram page.
I think so. Okay.
He plays in Europe, in the European leagues, and he does a lot of testing. Often when he posts, he's wearing the next iteration of True gear, and he's actually one of their people who wears it like no branding on it and develops it. So it's pretty cool to watch. Yeah. Pretty cool to watch him develop it.
That's awesome. Thank you for that. Yeah. That's another, guys, check that stuff out. All you goalie guys, we're really kind of into this gear stuff. You got to do research. You got to find, the stuff and there's so many. Goalie stuff is so wide, like the range is so wide. There's so many different options out there. Jared was finding from the Goalie Gear Snob, Chris, right, down in Texas, just a way to hook up his chest protector. There's so many different things that you can try, and the more research you do, the better. So continue, Steve. Go ahead.
That's a really good point you bring up, because I never really did much research, but then COVID, of course, forced us all to be locked up. So that's when, all the goalie guys, their YouTube channels and their Instagrams, everybody blew up. I following people, they would post every Monday. I was there trying to learn, more mobility, you know, following Maria from Goalie Training Pro with all her mobility programs, and so many goalie strength, who's in Toronto up here in Canada. And he's got a leg program that I've done his leg program, which helps to build leg strength. And just even some of the logic that they propose, like something simple, where he says, you know, what you have to understand is you develop your leg strength. And then when you're on the ice right now, before you develop your leg strength to slide across the crease, maybe you're using 90% of your strength. But if you become twice as strong, well, then you're going to be using 40% of your strength to get across.
Much less.
And then you have a lot more reserve that you can actually get across quicker. If you do use the 70, 80, or 90% of your strength, you will move much faster.
I never really thought about it from that perspective, but that makes a lot of sense. The more energy you reserve for those times where you have to scramble, or when, you know, you're locked in your zone or something, that makes a huge difference. And I'm sure the pros really break those things down to the percentages, you know, to the fractions probably, just to keep that, to keep their energy levels high. Yeah, Jared, Sam says that you're being quiet, so
yeah, no, that's funny.
Pop in if you come up with anything.
No, it's all good. I'm all good over here.
Perfect. So go ahead, Steve. What else? What have you learned?
So with the Lefebvre gear, I wanted to have, being a Quebecer, I wanted to have the gear with the actual Lefebvre name before it became true. So I kind of rushed a little bit, and I ordered a set. I got the L20.1s when they came up with it, only to realize a couple of years later that it really wasn't the pad for me, because you needed a lot more skill level to get proper rotation. They sat very high up on the skate, which is something you brought up and Jared brought up, where they're sitting way up. So I wasn't getting the corner of the pad to touch the ice to start the rotation when I was going down, because they were so high.
Okay.
So then when I switched over to the MH, which is the Russian hockey brand, their toe, I guess you'd call it the bottom portion, is longer. So when I strap it on, it actually sits a bit lower. And when I start my butterfly, it actually starts the rotation for me earlier. So I realized that is, for my skill level and flexibility level, that was the way to go. So then I made a custom set with them after having a white set with them.
Gotcha. Now, all that stuff can change too with like your skate, your boot size, the skate holder. You know, if you're using like true one pieces, they have a much flatter profile, and the boot sits much lower. I mean, all this stuff is stuff that affects that people, your average goaltender, is not really thinking about. So Lefebvre was also involved with CCM, and obviously before, and then started on his own, and then True, I guess, and then collaborated and started it turned into True after that. His design just for the True brand. Yeah. So Jared was in CCM's before he switched to Vaughn's recently. Jared, do you have any thoughts on your CCM gear? What you liked or didn't like about it? How the boot sat on your skate?
It's hard to compare now because I like the Vaughn so much. I felt like the pad in general sat lower. I don't know if it was because of the lower thigh rise, but I didn't have the mobility. My leg movements weren't translating to the pad. So I just kind of felt like stuck in them, and it was really hard to slide.
Yeah.
So not to say that they were bad or anything. I mean, they protected me pretty well and stopped a lot of pucks. But when I was able to actually get a good fit and feel and try on a lot of different sets of pads, and then finding out that the feel, the different feels between the pads and the different areas where they would like focus on,
you
just
talked a lot about stability with the Vaughns compared to the CCMs, just the foam stability of it, the structure of the pad gave you that confidence, the ability to like really focus on your slides more, and you didn't feel like you were sitting down as much. You felt like you were up higher. Yeah. in the
Right. Yeah,
last.
for sure. And with the CCMs, it was extremely hard to slide. I thought I just was not a sliding goaltender, but I can actually slide now with these new pads because they have that quick slide.
Mhm.
And that works really well. It can take a non-sliding goalie and make him a sliding goalie real fast.
Actually, this was while we're talking about this issue, this is something I want to discuss with you guys. It's a little more in depth than I wanted to go on right away, but it's something that's really changed in the goalie market within the last, I don't know, 5 to 7 years. The sliding surface has gone from just a Gen Pro, sliding surface to, the quick slide or the diamond cut or what is it? They got the slide plates on the Warriors, and just everything is like evolving the way the position does, through history and stuff. So, what are your guys' thoughts on that trend? And then what is your experience with the newest set of pads that you have, the most recent technology? We mind if we start with Jared, Steve, and then we'll come to you next. Perfect.
Yeah, again, I think the biggest thing is the quick sliding surface. The pad's a lot stiffer than my CCM as well, and I believe that helps me out with the structure and stability when I'm down in the butterfly as well. So I really feel like the combination of the quick slide and the stiffness of the pad are really what really set them apart from everything else and everything else that I've used before.
Yeah. How about you, Steve?
Everything Jared said, plus the fact that the knee blocks tend to not move as much. So they're really like tied into the pad.
Mm-hmm.
And where the lower part of your leg lands as well, those used to be rounded. Now
Correct.
everybody's making that flat so you can really slide even better. And also a couple of the companies, or maybe everybody now, they're putting like a cushion in there so that when you do go down, you're keeping an even weight across a smaller area. Sorry, actually, the way you're putting it, so that you have less friction and you slide better.
So you're saying you're applying the pressure evenly across the pad from the knee to the ankle, basically,
but almost all the way down to the ankle, right?
Right, correct.
And that's a very good way to describe the stability I feel with the Vaughns in comparison to the CCMs.
Yeah.
The CCMs, the weight was all kind of down by my ankle, and the Vaughns, it's evenly distributed throughout the whole sliding surface.
And they probably weigh half as much.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely.
Actually, they're actually heavier than my CCMs.
Really?
Yeah. That was surprising, but I really don't mind.
I was going to say that from having, I would always purchase, same as Steve, I would always purchase used gear before to play, because I didn't want to invest as all the money into the position. But something that coming from that, you don't realize how much these materials break down over time, and the reason that these guys, especially in the show, are obviously they're playing at a level that's much higher than any of us, but these materials break down over time. The foams, all this stuff, it loses its durability, and that stuff affects performance. So like the foams in your CCM or even the sliding surface itself can lose its natural durability and fail, Go ahead, Steve, and let's hear some more about the different types of equipment you've gone through and what you liked or disliked about it.
To touch on the point you brought up with the sliding surface and the different, going back in time, I used to put ski wax on the sliding surface to get better slide, silicone spray to get better slide. And what I heard from somebody recently is he actually puts like a PPF film that they usually put to protect cars.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently people are putting that on the sliding surface to get more slide. But he says with that PPF, you almost end up in the corner.
Yeah. So that's what the slide plates basically are for the Warriors. It's basically a hardened I shouldn't say hardened. It's a soft plastic plate that goes over the knee block. That's really all it is. Which what I like about it is it's removable, relatively easy, and then it's replaceable, which I think Warrior kind of did this thing with like the glove liners, which I really like, is that
Yes.
You can swap the glove interiors or the blocker interiors and actually have new stuff ordered to where it's basically like getting a new glove, but with the same performance of what you're used to playing with. And I really like that, ability to swap that out. So that's definitely a good point.
Before
Jared,
my Lefebvre, I did have a Warrior glove with the removable palm.
Mm-hmm.
And when I sold it, I had bought a spare palm, and I sold it to somebody with a brand new palm. It was like he got a brand new glove.
Exactly.
So that's really creative on their part.
Yep, absolutely. Sam comments that he thought Steve would have a French accent. I'm sure he could.
Oui, qu'est-ce que tu veux?
So I've known Steve for a little while now. Stack the Pads goaltending, John, who I haven't spoken to in a while, but I do miss our chats. He used to get groups of us together to do this, and we really miss it. I can't believe we've been going for 20 minutes already. It's crazy, and we've hardly touched on anything. But so just to get back on track with the new gear, Steve, what's your newest set, and then what are the main differences? Yeah. Oh, great. Yeah. He's got it back there. That's awesome. Oh, wow.
So now
these are the PGS.
Yes.
Yep.
So, Mark Hockey was making it under the PGS brand name.
Okay.
So it's basically the Mark Hockey. So one thing that we didn't touch on at all is anybody who hasn't bought gear in a while, the strapping.
Yeah.
There's like zero leather straps. It's all, and Sam will probably hate this because I saw his last video where he's got like 18 straps on the back of his pads. But so
now it's all Velcro, lightweight.
All Velcro. Everything is removable. What I really like about MH Hockey is if I don't want to strap up here, completely removable. You take the whole tab out. You don't have to be like Vasilevsky, who leaves this flopping around when it comes out.
Yep.
They ship it to you with two elastic strapping systems. Mine, I like the 2-piece one because it's very similar to what my Lefebvre was, where you have one across the top of the calf and one near the bottom of the calf.
Mm-hmm.
Or they have one, it's kind of like the, I don't know if Vaughn is the same, but Brian's has one that's kind of like a V, and then you can position it anywhere you want, so you place it the way you like.
Higher or lower based on your preference. What's the Vaughn's like, Jared?
I would say they're similar to Steve's. There's two that go immediately around your calf, 2 straps. And then there's another single strap that comes back around. And then the upper strap I tie down to my calf instead of at the knee.
Okay.
Or it's tied. It all Velcros.
Yeah. Pretty much all your newer generation pads are going to Velcro just for ease and for the mobility. Like it doesn't restrict your movement like a leather strap did. The leather is obviously weighs more, and then like you have your buckles and stuff that would rust after years of use.
Or take a puck and break.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that with the Velcro stuff, most of the stuff is you can pretty much swap out. Like I know on the Warriors, you can, like, the straps all pretty much come out and can be interchanged. So once you get the bacon, effect on your strap, which is pretty common, I think they wear out pretty fast. I think if you're not upgrading gear pretty regularly, the stuff does wear, especially when you're not buying pro quality stuff. So, so your newest set is the PGS. What in this last video I saw you in a white set? What was that?
That's the Mark Hockey?
Okay, that was the first set you got that wasn't custom. Okay,
right.
Gotcha.
So that was the first one, but If I show you the back, it's basically identical.
It looks identical. Yeah.
It's exactly the same. They have two spots. If you need a bigger opening, or if you want it a little bit tighter, you can actually move this or remove it completely. Same thing inside here. They make it very adjustable. They have a boot strap that's removable. So they ship it to you with a bootstrap, and then you can actually remove it or adjust the length of the bootstrap if you want to pass it around the back of your skate like the Lundy loop, or if you want to pass it under the blade, you can shorten it, you can lengthen it. They're very creative, I find, and pretty much I think every company is doing that, where they're trying to make it where people can customize it themselves at home. So
nice.
Pretty,
so do you
simple
wear your strap, the upper strap, do you wear it behind your knee, or do you strap to the calf strap, or to the calf
I
position?
strap behind the knee.
Do you? How about you, Jared? What's your preference?
Down to the calf.
Gotcha. And that's mine as well. I prefer, I don't like the restriction at the knee for whatever reason. I just feel like it grabs. When I used to have the leather straps on my older lawn gear and stuff, I used to wear those top buckles like almost completely, like I basically, if they wouldn't have been there, I would have cut them off. And that was the first thing I did when I bought my Von Ventus pads, was I cut the top straps off completely and just got rid of them. So
for the strapping, what I've been doing is I've been playing a lot with the toe tie length, and the strapping, and the strap, whether it goes behind the knee or the calf. So what I found, actually the other night I played with my Lefebvre gear, and that one does not have a spot to strap it behind the knee. I have to go down to the calf.
Okay.
So what I've done is I've actually shortened the toe tie slack.
Okay. Yep.
Because I find when I strap to the calf and the toe tie is long, then they kind of fall inwards and they hit each other at the top. They get in my way when I try to move.
Yeah,
so that's why I like doing
the top of the thigh rise. They touch instead of being slightly apart. Yeah. Okay.
Right. So that's why I like going behind the knee, because it keeps them apart. But what I've been doing is experimenting in shortening the toe tie to see how much I can shorten it. Because my problem, again, is butterfly flare. If I shorten it too much, then they're not going to rotate for me because I don't have the right movement. So I'm still experimenting with that. So I might become a calf guy soon, Jared.
How about you, Jared? What do you do with your toe tie system? Steve, I saw you had laces on the back of yours, so obviously you're using laces. And what Steve's talking about, for those of you watching, that if you don't know much about the position or you're still learning, typically what they will tell you, and like the newer pads, you want to tie a knot at the bridge of the toe bridge, and then you will extend the skate lace another 3 to 4 inches, depending. And that's what Steve's saying. He's playing with that distance, and then tie another knot. And then that is where it will it'll stop there at your skate. So when you tie it onto your skate to hold the pad, it allows that movement of the pad. It allows it to adjust. So when you go down into the butterfly, it allows the pad to rotate flat and cause the wall, what they call the butterfly. So, Jared, do you use lace, or do you use Velcro straps, or what do you use?
Laces for sure. I used bungees one game, and they ended up underneath my skate. My skate blade cut it, and that was an awkward game. But laces for sure. And when I got the new pads, I went a lot longer. Probably doubled the length.
Oh, wow.
From my CCM, and it gave me a lot more mobility with my foot. And that could either be from that or the depth of the boot channel there.
Okay.
I definitely liked having the freedom.
Have either of you used like the bungee cord toe ties at all, or have you?
That's what I was going to show you now. So here's my latest experiment.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's like a hybrid bungee toe tie.
That's pretty cool. So what's the Y piece at the,
that sits at the front of your skate.
Correct.
So this part is skate lace. So you
Okay,
take the
yep.
skate lace, you leave as much slack as you were talking about the slack.
Mm-hmm.
You leave as much as you want. So this I had a little bit too much. So next game I'm going to shorten this down a little bit so
Yeah.
that when I strap to the calf, it won't be falling. But it makes it so much easier to put it on and off.
With
The
the
thing that
bungees,
Jared talked about with them sliding off, what I do is when I put them on, I'll put a little strip of clear tape around just to hold them in place so they don't fall off.
it's not a bad idea. So when I put my bungees on, I overlap. So I lay one over the other to twist it at the toe, and then I go through my first hole. And I've never had a problem with them coming off that way. And I think if you wanted to, you could do a couple of them, and like you could even wrap, like you said, clear tape around it if you wanted to extend like the bungee a little bit. So on that, it's interesting, and I kind of want to hear like a coach's thought process on this, because so you're not only getting that several inches of distance, but you also have the stretch of the bungee, which is can add to that. So
Yes.
so if you made it a little shorter, it might help, get you right where you want to be then.
Yeah. That's what I'm experimenting. This is the first game I played with these. So I'm curious if I shorten it down a little bit, if it's going to help with the pads not touching at the top.
Yeah.
Just to touch on the sliding of the toe ties sliding off. Are you wearing true skates, Jared?
Yes.
Yeah. So I had the same issue with the true skates. PGS made a little, it's actually like a Gen Pro piece where it goes on your skate laces, and it's a Velcro piece. So you put your toe ties inside it, and then you Velcro it in place, and then it doesn't fall off. Or what some other people have done is they just take some skate lace, they pass it through a couple of the laces, and then you put the toe ties in it and you tie it in place so it doesn't fall off if you don't want to put clear.
So C. Mary is asking, what are some good suggestions for skates that won't break the bank? They haven't played goalie in a while, and they're looking for a decent pair of skates that won't break the bank to just fill in as a goalie every once in a while. Any suggestions for them?
I would look at when all of the store like Hockey Bunkie and Source for Sports and a few of the sports stores, what they do is every time there's a new generation of skate, the old one goes on clearance.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not facing high level shots, then you can take the basic version of the latest skate as well, because they'll have 3 price points. There'll be the pro level, which is up here in Canada, the pro level ones are $1,400. And then you have another skate looks exactly like it, and it's $399. And you're like, why is it $399? But the materials are just not as durable.
It's not the quality, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But if you're just starting back in, which is what I did when I started back into it in end of 2017, when I started playing again,
mm-hmm.
I went. I really wanted the Bauer Custom Pros, but I wasn't paying $1,100 for skates. $399 brand new.
Yeah.
And I got it looked exactly like it, but unless you're facing NHL slap shots, you're not going to get hurt wearing the basic version of the pro skate.
Right. And that's true. Especially now, even without the cowlings, because everything's going to cowlingless, now. That's a good suggestion. So check out the Goalie Monkey clearance section. They, like Steve said, their older models typically go on clearance when the new ones roll out. Another good suggestion, I don't know where you live, but Play It Again Sports is great. And then if you're looking online, which can be kind of hit or miss when it comes to equipment, because you always want to check for fit and try it on first. But Sideline Swap is I've had really good experiences on there. Obviously, you have to, use your due diligence and not make bad decisions. But yeah, there's great deals on there. Everyone that I've worked with and sold to or bought from has been great. They handle the deals really well on there. So that's another suggestion too. But Jared, let's talk about your true skates and that you changed, you recently got new skates, and then your Vaughn gear that you recently got into.
Yeah, I really wanted the Bauer Connects, and went and tried them on, and they just didn't feel right. There's like one pinch point that was really bad anytime I was like in a stance. So the guy at the store recommended the Trues. They're not the one piece like you have. Um, it's basically just like the boot with the they're riveted on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, skate holder. Yep.
Yeah, skate holder. Got them baked to my foot, which was kind of fun and really nice. It's just, I don't know how to describe it. It's just a totally different feel. The powers that I had before, they were the Supremes. They were just very hard on my foot. I guess that's the best way I can explain it. Whereas the True feels like I'm actually wearing like a sneaker, but
Yeah.
it's very well secured in my foot. And I don't have any movement, but they're a lot. So they're just more comfortable in the long run. I don't really know what else to say. I'm still getting a little used to them. They flex kind of in one direction, and the boot sits slightly higher than my Bowers. But I don't think it's hindering me one way or another. It's just and then there's like a forward attack angle with it that's a little more severe than my Bowers were. So that took a little more getting used to than anything else. But they're just about there with not even thinking about them at all playing, and it's really nice now to not have numb feet by the time I'm done playing.
Right. Yeah, that's what you want. You don't really want to notice your gear. That's like every goalie's goal. You want to just feel like you're out there just stopping the puck, right? You don't want to be thinking about how uncomfortable your feet are or how your pad feels loose or whatever. It's the moments when everything just melds together, and that's when you're playing at your best, right? So, yeah, the Trues were great. I really enjoyed them. Mine were custom, so I got really lucky, and my foot kind of just fit into a different guy's, boot, which was awesome. But I'm glad that you've experienced it. True is honestly, I know that they asked about skates that won't break the bank. I hate to say it, but if you're gonna really commit to the position, having skating is the most important part. So honestly, I would say if you're going to spend any money on the position at all, like invest in a good helmet. Probably that's, number one. And then a very close second would be as most money as you can spend on skates, because that is the most important part of goaltending. If you can't move, it's not really worth being out there,
Absolutely.
So you said that the skate angle, the attack angle is different on the Trues based on the holder, and then I guess depending on the profile that you got on them when you got them sharpened for the first time, that can adjust that a little bit to your liking. If you don't like being forward as much, you can profile it back to where it's more of a flat, not as aggressive. But so you got new skates, and you said that they feel awesome. So the Vaughns that you got is a completely shifted from CCM to now a Vaughn guy. So elaborate on
Um, they just felt the best as far as leg pads. And then the glove and blocker. I mean, a blocker's a blocker. Until I got this one. It has a lot more padding in the palm than what I'm used to, because I was used to get, the on sale clearance last year models of the base, entry level stuff that was just, one single layer piece of whatever material they were using. So it's different in how I'm gripping the stick. It just feels weird having that extra padding there. Gloves, I tried on every single glove they had in the store, and they had like 3 or 4 rows. And it just so happened that the one I liked the best matched pads I already selected, which are the PS1s, just a pro level, not the pro card. Um, I really want Brian's so bad, but just the breaks on those gloves just didn't match with how I like the glove to be. My CCM, I would still use it today if it didn't go through what it went through. But
Yeah.
this Vaughn matched the break. This Vaughn matched the break of that better than any other CCM, any of the Trues, anything like that. And it came already broken in, ready to go. I love the shape of it. Real deep pocket, double T, excuse me.
Double
And it's just
looking at
great.
Steve, trying to see if he's got the double or single on his. He's got the double. Yeah. I've never had a double. Tell me your thoughts on the double, because I know a lot of guys, they prefer the double because they can see through the tee when they're projecting their glove out to follow the shot all the way into the glove. So that's what I've heard is the preference. Either of you guys have opinions on the double to single?
I don't have much, because when I got back into playing again, I got the double T because I thought, it looked cool. And I think now it's just an aesthetic thing. I wouldn't know if I would tell a difference catching a puck if it was a single T or a double T if you blindfolded me. I probably wouldn't catch the puck anyway if I was blindfolded. But I just like the aesthetic.
Yeah. Okay. How about you, Steve?
Yeah, I kind of I like the way it looks. I know maybe higher level people can watch the puck as it goes in. I usually my head's behind the play, so by the time it's already in the glove by the time I turn my head.
Yeah.
But my Mark Hockey, it came with a double T, but their double T it didn't break the pocket properly. It would make it close irregularly.
Okay.
So they sent me a single T to replace the double T. And honestly, I didn't find a difference once I swapped it out. It wasn't really noticeable. Yeah, I didn't find a big difference. It does change the shape of the pocket a little bit.
How it closes, the actual closure of the glove.
Yeah, it makes it like a little. But what I did find a big difference is when I got my Lefebvre set, I went to a 580.
Okay.
The MH stock set was a 590 break.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And then when I ordered the custom M8 PGS, I went back to 580. And recently, I don't know if you've seen some of I was just playing with my PGS set the whole time. Then I said, you know what? I'm going to start swapping back and forth a little bit.
Yeah.
I started playing with that 590 glove again, and it just feels so sweet. I find I'm catching the puck better with the 590 than with the 580.
And it's amazing how just a small adjustment can make that difference. And it's how you're projecting with your hands is one part of it. And then, so, I mean, we obviously naturally put our hands out at a certain angle. It's just how everybody has their own style. And that's why the angle is such a big deal. I always personally had a problem with trying to really understand the angles, partially because I never came from like a CCM, or I don't really know much about their equipment. I have limited knowledge with it. I've had some briefly, but I don't know enough about it to really know the different angles from 580 to 600. So it's 580, 590, and 600. It's basically when you rotate your hand, just how the glove sits naturally. So like when I have a Warrior glove with a 75-degree break is what it's called with Warrior, and my hand basically goes straight up with fingers pointing directly up. And basically what it allows the glove to do, the pocket being here, it allows me to have the most straight angle to the puck so that it hits the pocket and not the palm. Right. For goalies that are kind of watching and wondering what we're talking about. So for you, you're saying that you kind of are leaning towards the 590 now. Do you feel like it's changed? Like your game has changed to where you're projecting your hand out more, that you are rotating it differently?
Maybe. It
Okay.
might be that, or it could have just been that I was forcing myself to, stick with a 580 because I thought that was the right break for me.
Okay.
I realized it just felt a lot more natural.
Mm-hmm.
I put the 590 on, I played a game and I made a stop and I was like, whoa, that was like right in the heart of the pocket, closed right away. I said, the 580, I wasn't getting that feeling of it, if it hitting the sweet spot and closing properly. I got a lot of pop outs. I would hit a different part of the glove and it would pop back out.
Yep.
So I think in the future, for me, it's a 590 again. I think I'm going to go back to the 590.
That's awesome. It's so wild to me how, and obviously we're all learning, as we're playing, for even us in our, in more advanced years, how this stuff can change. I was going to start a podcast talking about goalie stuff like this. And it's amazing that over time goalies get so like dialed into one set. Like I can't deviate from whatever this brand or whatever this style. I've found for me that, and because I used to be that way, I used to hate change. I used to hate like different stuff. It's neat to see the technology for all these different brands and all these different things. What you never know what you might just absolutely fall in love with. Like one of the guys that follows the channel, his name's Paul. Shout out to Paul. Nerd Rage Hockey is his YouTube channel. He went from Warrior to Brian's and just changed his game. It changed everything for him, and that's fantastic. It allowed him to slide better, and you could just tell his confidence watching him play week to week. It grew just over the equipment change, and that was just a simple little fix. Jared, same kind of deal. Watching you from the CCM stuff. Just your positioning, how, like you said, your back is up, you're straighter, you're solid. When you get into the butterfly and you push, it's a crisp slide with that new technology. It just makes such a huge difference. And so I guess just my point to all this is to say to young goalies or older goalies, if you have the ability, and you're really wanting to improve yourself and improve your game, the gear can sometimes be part of the problem. It's not always your technical, your ability or your technique. It can actually be the gear that's failing. So,
and be open, because I wasn't expecting to buy Vaughn's that day. There was on my list. They were at the very bottom.
Yeah,
and just being open and trying them, you never know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's good. That's good
Yeah.
advice.
I think I'm a gun guy. I don't know if either of you guys are gun guys or not. But something that really stands out to me about about the goalie gear is you see stuff that the pros are using and it's like, oh, I want that. That looks so cool. It's like Jared said about the Connects. And I think that we get so caught up on like the advertising and that so-and-so is using it or this YouTuber is using it. For the kids out there that are watching and even the adults too, you don't have to just wear what feels right. Don't buy something because someone else on YouTube says it's good or some pro is using it. Put the stuff on, try it out. If it feels wrong, don't force yourself to use that. It's not going to benefit you. That's why there's such a variety out there. That's why there's umpteenth brands of different types of goalie gear out there, is because everyone has a preference. Everyone's preference is different. Find what you like and stick with it. So we've been going for 48 minutes. It's been
Already?
pretty, yeah, I know, right? It's been pretty smooth. Do either of you guys want to elaborate more on any of the gear that you've gotten or kind of talk more in depth about a specific thing?
Just on the skates, if I can say, because I was in Bauer, and then I went to the True two-piece.
Okay.
And then I got the Bauer Connects. So both sets of skates were custom pro skates that I didn't buy custom pro. I bought them actually from the guy I mentioned earlier, Cody Porter.
Yeah.
His foot is very similar to my foot. So I bought his True custom skates and I ended up paying less than half of what it would cost to buy them new.
Yeah.
When I got them, I thought I made the biggest mistake in the world. I couldn't even get my foot in the skate.
Yeah.
It was so tight.
And these are the
The
trues
baking,
or the
yes,
connect.
the trues,
Okay, the trues. Okay.
the trues. The
Yeah.
baking is huge.
Yeah.
Because as soon as I bake them to my foot, like Jared said, it's like you've got a slipper on. It's molded exactly to the shape of your foot,
Yep.
and it really makes a huge difference. So then Cody put his Bauer Connects for sale. I knew his foot and mine were very similar, so I bought his Bauer Connects again, less than half the price of what it would have cost you.
Right.
I to Jared's point, he didn't like the Connects because they didn't fit him well. I love the Connects. I find they give me more. I'm able to lean more and
Reflection at the ankle.
even hold my edges better than my trues. So, and I loved the trues before trying the Bauer. So to Jared's point, just be open and try it. Makes a big difference.
Yeah. But real quick, Jared, I shouldn't say real quick because I'm going to drone on for probably an hour. But Steve's point is something that I plan to make a video on with the Connects that I got, because I was coming from. So I bought a pair of used skates from a guy who bought them from the Nashville Predators, UC Soros True skates. They fit. There was a little adjustment to them, but they fit really well, and I fell in love with them. I was coming from like an older pair of Graphs, so I mean it was a huge improvement, and I really liked those skates, and I was really debating on going custom True from there on. Like obviously my foot and his were similar, but I really wanted it to fit me, perfectly. So and then the Connects came out, and the first set I'm like, okay, let's see how these go, work the kinks out or whatever. And then the Connect 2s came out, and I'm like, those look sick. I got to have a pair of them. So, but they're $1,000 skates, right? And I'm like, oh, no way. I'm not dropping that kind of money on a pair of ice skates. So I actually got a deal on them. Like Steve's saying, I got them very discounted. And I'm like, I can't pass this up. I have to try these. Even if they don't work out, I can turn them and sell them used. So I had the same problems. I skated in them. And to preface this, I'm old school. When I buy stuff, I don't bake it. I don't do any of the recommended manufacturer garbage when it's for, all them guys. I just put it on and play with it, and that's how I do it. I barely made an hour in them Connects. It was awful. My shins were bleeding by the time it was over, and I plan to put this in the review, obviously, but it was awful. And so the more research I did, the baking was a huge thing. I was reading of people that would bake their skates up to 3 to 5 times, to try and get them dialed in exactly right. And I got them baked, and it made just a night and day difference. Like I can skate in them comfortably for an hour plus, and it's not a problem. I still get some pain, so I'm thinking about baking them a second time just to try and alleviate some of that stuff. But like you said, Steve, the Connects, I mean, you basically have like an insert that goes into the skate, like a cushion. It's like a pillow for your foot, and they are so comfortable. Once I baked them, it's a night and day. I mean, I would have never thought something that simple would have changed it. But the way these plastics and stuff are designed, that's the part of the process to making these skates work. So my advice to anyone out there would be to find a good pro shop, whatever you do for skates or whatever you do for your equipment, even like equipment repairs. Find a good pro shop that can give you advice on this stuff. If you're buying not from them, most of these guys, they just want to help. So I would reach out to someone and talk to them about it, get advice. If something's not feeling right or working right, talk to someone who knows their stuff, who's a pro. Jared, what about your skates? Did you do any? You just said you baked them once, and then they just felt awesome.
Yeah. So, as per True manufacturer's recommendations, to even try them on, they had to bake them.
Yeah.
So they did like a half bake on them, for me to try on, and then afterwards they did the full bake. And I don't know if I would mind. I don't feel like I have to, but I kind of like in the back of my head want to bake them again, for no reason in particular, because they feel great. I mean, they're a little hard to get on at first, but once you get your foot in there, it just locks. And it's just like, you don't even really have to tie them that tight.
Right. So to
I know
Steve's point,
Yeah,
sorry, Steve.
no,
No, you're
my trues was the same thing. In order to get them on, I used to have to put my foot in at almost like a 90-degree angle and twist it exactly.
Yeah.
When I got my Bauer Connects baked, the person that I brought them to Hockey Monkey to bake them, even though I didn't buy them there. So he baked them and he told me, do not sell your trues until you play at least a month in your Bauer Connects, because he says you're either going to love them or hate them.
Yep.
And chances are you will need a second baking, maybe a third, before they're comfortable. So just keep your trues in the meantime. And then once you're sure you're going to keep the Bauer Connects, then you
Move on.
then you can decide if you want to sell your trues or not.
Yeah.
And then back to the thing about the toe ties, Jared, because I use the Connects, there's no laces. That's why I put the clear to hold the bungee, because it slides off. Otherwise, there's nowhere to tie it.
Right.
So the tape does the trick.
That's good advice. Yeah. What were you gonna say, Jared? I saw the wheels were turning. What were you gonna say?
Oh no, I heard Izzy from the other side of the house.
You're good.
There are dad wheels turning.
So Steve, have you had any issues with the buckles on the Connects at all? How long have you been using them? And any?
I've had them for 3 months.
Okay.
So the first version of the Bauer Connect, a lot of people had problems with buckles. On the second version, the buckle actually locks in place. So once you snap it, it locks, whereas the first version apparently didn't lock. I never saw the first version, but that's what they told me.
Yep.
There's also 2 buckles. There's a higher buckle and a lower buckle.
Yep.
I used to have both. The guy, when he baked them, he said most people take off the lower one. It's kind of useless. It doesn't do anything. So I've taken off the lower buckle and I just lock in the top buckle and that's it. And they're super comfortable. I find I have a little more, I'm able to lean forward a little more. My trues, I used to not, the laces were not even through the eyelets on the top two eyelets. I wouldn't even pass the laces through it. Because like Jared said, once they're baked to your foot, you almost don't have to tie the laces. They're on your foot like a slipper.
Right. And then so for those of you that don't have strong ankles, obviously, the higher up you lace your skate, the more support you're getting from the boot itself. So the rigidness of the boot at the top of the skate like holes, like where you lace them up, if you're still new and you're learning to skate still, you might go all the way up. As you get stronger and your ankles get stronger, you don't have to lace them up all the way. And actually, that's a good point. A lot of people were doing with the trues was not lacing them up as high. It gave them more flexion at the ankle than having them laced all the way up. So if what Steve is talking about with the Connects, they are basically like a ski boot. I don't know if anyone skis that's watching, but so they're the plastic that goes above the ankle actually like rotates and pivots at the ankle of the skate. They're pretty neat, and there's some science to it. I know it sounds really stupid, but it allows you to get more aggressive with your tack angle. It allows you to feel your edges longer, so you can stand at a wider stance, like right on the razor's edge of your blade, and get your stance all the way out if you want. And the skates are phenomenal for that. They have been really nice, and then my pushes have been just as crisp as ever. The trues were a huge improvement, but the Connects are really nice.
Can I ask a question to both of you? What do you do as when you sharpen? 5/8, half inch?
Go ahead, Jared.
I go 3/8.
3/8.
That's sharp.
Yeah. It's mainly for longevity because my closest skate sharpener is an hour and a half away.
Oh wow!
So I don't get to sharpen them that much, and the first few skates they are way too sharp, but they last longer.
Oh,
hello.
The edge lasts longer going to 3/8, and
Yeah.
a couple times they've had to cross grind them and do them all over again.
wow.
But that's mainly because I don't get out there that much to get them sharpened.
Jared, I have a question for you. Does the guy you take your skates to sharpen them, does he do shipments? Like, can you buy a second set of steel and ship a set to him?
So it's actually it's a Piranhas, which I guess now is pure
Oh, okay.
hockey.
Okay.
I've never thought about that. That's actually a good idea. I have thought about getting a second set of steels just to have to change, intermediately, just to have on hand, but just haven't haven't quite gotten that far with it yet.
I was just going to make a suggestion. I know the pro shop I go to, he gets stuff from all over the world. Like people ship stuff to him and he ships stuff out. I know guys, like when kids come in for tournaments, when they go to Canada or when they travel around, they will bring 5 sets of blades in a pouch, in a packet, and get them sharpened. And like he ships to, like I said, everywhere. So that's something I would consider definitely doing, especially if, you want to try and play around with different sharpenings, is to get a second set, which, I mean, steel's not cheap. I'm not trying to go out and drop a bunch of money, but you could definitely do that. And then instead of driving to get them sharpened, you could ship them and have them sharpened and sent back, and it would save you, the windshield time and stuff. So,
send me that guy's information because I'm definitely interested in that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure a lot of guys would do it. That's why I say you could check it out, but I will send that to you for sure. I recently was doing 5/8 in my trues. I changed to 9/16 because I was having some grip issues. I felt like when I got out there that I felt like a deer walking on ice. It was bad. I just didn't have an edge hardly at all. Something else that my skate guy brought up, and I'm about to drop his name and info here in a second, but he mentioned to me that on the Connect 2s that has like the steel has a plating on it, which he finds in his experience with them that they have a bit of a rounded out edge to the steel, which he thinks causes some of that. He said he knows people that have just completely changed steel from the black steel on the Connect, and it's changed for them. So that's something I've considered doing too. But yeah, the 9/16 has felt really good since I didn't do any like major profiling or anything. How about you, Steve? What do you do?
I do a 1/2 inch. I used to do 5/8, but then now I've gone to the 1/2 inch. I find it gives me better pushes, a little more aggressive. Better grip.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great suggestion on shipping the blades. I mean, I was going to suggest a at-home skate sharpener, but if you don't sharpen them often, it's a little bit of a pricey option because I think they're like $600 or $700.
Yeah,
to buy the sharpener with the wheels.
Spark sharpener. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm going to drop my skate guy's name real quick just for the chat, and that way I can tell him that I'm talking him up. His name is Chad O'Neill. He used to work for the St. Louis Blues. Now he has his own skate shop called Skate Tech. He's in, I believe it's O'Fallon, Illinois. But this guy is just like a blade wizard, really. So he is just very particular. The spark sharpeners that are like your in-home, kind of thing. He absolutely hates them things. For one, it's stealing all of his business. But to be honest, you don't get the same treatment out of a spark sharpener that you get from taking them to a pro shop. Obviously, if you're in a place like Jared where you don't have, accessibility to someone like that, it's not really a great a Sparks could be a good option. But like when I take my skates in to him and I'm not noticing things, he looks at my skates from top to bottom. Like he doesn't just like sharpen the blades and like the guy at hockey, or pure hockey. He inspects everything. Like if I have a loose rivet or if I have whatever, like he goes over every inch of that skate and checks it to make sure that when next time I get on the ice, I'm going to be performing at the top, what the that skate can do. So I would definitely recommend for those of you even that use a spark sharpener, take them in at least every once in a while just to get them checked out by someone who knows what they're doing. But that's also a good option too. I think what do they run about $700 the Sparks sharpeners?
Yeah, give or take, because you've got to buy depending on the grinding wheels you get, and depends, if you sharpen very often. So I play hockey with a guy on Monday nights, and he has two sons who play a lot of hockey, and they do a lot of tournaments.
Yep.
And when you do tournaments, you don't know what you're going to get at the pro shop in it's in the middle of nowhere. And
Timbuktu,
so
yeah.
he used to bring his sharpener
Machine.
with him. He'd have it in the hotel room, and he would do the skates in between games. And basically, the way that works is the same as when you bring it to the pro shop. Let's say the pure sports type of pro shop, where all they do is they strap it in a machine, it goes back and forth, they give it back to you. Yep. Unlike your guy, who is Chad, who is more of a skate expert. But for them, the Sparks has been a lifesaver because of they got consistent. And what he would do, you could do 5 passes, or you could do 1 pass, or you can do 3 passes. So if you sharpen them really well, you play 1 game, and then you want to just touch it up. You pass it once, it cleans it up, and then you just keep going. You've got the same
profile or whatever,
or 5/8 or whatever you have, and you just keep playing. And you don't have to pass it 5 times every single time. So because it wears out. Grinding wheels, you have to replace the grinding wheels every so often because they get worn out.
Yeah, and you can swap those out. Like if someone on the team likes the 5/8 or if someone likes the 1/2 inch, they swap out pretty quickly from what I've seen. And so, I definitely agree. Like I know my son, when he was in high school, he played on a team, and there was teams that would buy, like you said, and they would take it with them on tournaments. It's just a quick, and it's better than trying to hunt down a pro shop or trying to find a pro shop. But I will definitely send you Chad's information. I know that'll make him happy. So, good, really good point, Steve. And that's this. So when I started my YouTube channel, mostly was just to watch myself, how bad I was, and to see how I could get better. And it's, I'm not gonna lie, not only has it really helped improve my play, but it has introduced me to people like both you guys, Steve and Jared, two just down to earth, really awesome, YouTube goalies. And it's given me the opportunity to share with you guys, talk with you guys, and everybody else out there that's watching or that's kept up with all our channels. Check these guys out. If you guys want to say your name, your YouTube handle, and then give them a like and subscribe for sure, and check them out.
Yep. Mine is MTL Goalie 62. So basically it's MTL for Montreal. So Montreal Goalie 62. And I do it for the same reason you do. I watch and I just keep trying to improve and see, because you see it one way in your head when you're on the ice. Oh, I did that perfectly. And then you look at it afterwards, you're like, what was I doing? I was so out of position. I dropped too early. I did this, I did that. So it's really helped to improve my game. And I posted recently a video where I did like a throwback to 2022. And I'm looking at it and I'm saying, wow, okay, I guess I did improve over the 4 years by watching the videos.
Yeah. How about you, Jared? What's your handle?
I'm a Hawkeye goalie. And I do it for reassurance because I only remember the goals, and it's nice to go over the footage and see that I stopped some in between them.
Yeah, right on.
But mostly just to watch myself and see if there's been any improvement, anything that I can improve on. But I haven't been doing much lately. But I like the editing process and doing the scoreboard and the instant replays and stuff like that. So the creative process is a lot of fun for me too.
Yeah, I think we need to do this kind of stuff more often. And I know it's obviously scheduling is the major, issue. People's lives are busy, and I totally understand that. But my kids are ready. They're grown, and I'm getting more time on my hands most of the time. So we need to stay fresh with each other and help each other out. Goalies on YouTube, same thing. If you guys are watching another goalie, and just try to be positive, and if you're coming in with criticism, do it from a good place, not from a place of critique to where you're tearing the person down. That's as a goalie community as a whole, I like to think that we're mostly like caring about one another. My son used to have a T-shirt that said St. Louis Blues versus everyone else, and I've modified that to goalies versus everyone else. When I'm out on the ice and that goalie across the ice makes a great save, I stick tap that guy and just shout out to them. No one understands what we're going through better than us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it's just so cool that most of the guys out there are being positive, helping people out, doing reviews, and doing, helping people understand the stuff about the gear and the game and how it's changed and changing. I mean, we only get so much time on this earth, and it's nice to be positive and uplifting to others. So I thank both of you guys, just outstanding people, and thank you for all your positivity and everything in the community as a whole. I think it's better for you guys. So I definitely appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you for you too, Jack. You're one of the best guys out there when it comes to positive feedback, and I've appreciated it from day one, from the very first video. Tips, pointers. I find most guys, Jared, we take suggestions and advice, and we absorb it and try to use it. At least that's what I find most of us do. And it's not just to get a compliment and say, "Hey, great save." It's nice to hear that, but it's also nice when, oh, you know what, you're kind of deep on that one, and maybe try to focus on doing this. I appreciate that more than the "Hey, nice save."
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And even from this, my big takeaway from this, not that there's nothing else to take away from it, but I'm going to try not lacing my skates all the way up. Because that is the one thing, with my trues being higher than my bowers. And I didn't even think about anything until you said you didn't lace your trues all the way up. So that's something I'm going to go and try on Sunday.
And that's a prime example of what just a conversation like this, where something small can change everything about how you play the position and think about it. And everybody's so different, and you don't know until you try. Like every little thing that, like the chest carabiner thing, like, I mean, everything makes a huge difference. Tying your chest into your pants, or your shin pads, or your knee guards into your pants, or whatever. I mean, there's so many goalie mods out there, and that's what's so cool about the position is everybody does something different, and you can learn something from anybody playing, even the newest guy out there, that does something completely different. It's so cool, and that's something that I enjoy about it so much. But well, I don't want to keep you guys all night. Obviously, you got young families and other stuff going on, but I appreciate the time that you sat here and discussed this with me. I enjoyed it. I will definitely try and reschedule something again soon. I have so many videos that I want to make that I just need to do, and hopefully you guys, if this encourages you guys to do the same thing, like on your new gear, show people what you're doing to strap up. And I'm going to try and do the same thing. I'm going to make some videos where I'm showing people how I strap my stuff up. Some of the best video view counts that I've got are me showing people how I tie my toe ties, which is it's so stupid, but it's what people are wanting to see. Obviously it's good to hear this stuff too, but they want to see like how we're doing it, what we're doing, and what makes things easy for us so that they can make life easy for them too. Any last thoughts or words you guys got?
I think we covered a lot. It's like Jared, I learned a couple of things too that I'm going to try on the ice.
Awesome.
Even the simple tip like mailing your blades into somebody, because even though I've got places close by, I'm not 100% satisfied. So it's a good idea to ship them off to somebody who actually is focused on doing the blades without driving an hour to do it.
Yeah, and you never know. I mean, this guy might not be the one for you either, but you don't know until you try. And that's what I was going to say. I said something about guns, and I didn't even say what I was going to say about it. But you don't know what fits you until you put it in your hand. When it comes to guns, if it's not comfortable, you don't want that gun. Same thing for goalie equipment. It just applies the same. If it doesn't fit right, if it doesn't feel right, it's not for you. Try something else. Do something different. But yeah, so words of wisdom from an old, not so old guy, but hey guys, thank you so much. I really look forward to doing this again. I will send you guys that info, and if anyone else is interested, maybe I will put Chad's info in the link for this video. So thank you guys so much for watching and listening. I love you guys. Thanks again, and we'll catch up soon.
Great. Thanks,
Thanks, Jack.
See you,
YouTube.